Okay, let's unpack this. Is a game often associated with, high stakes, dramatic bluffs, and shiny chips
Mm.
actually a secret weapon for your brain?
Mm.
We're diving deep into poker today. But maybe not in the way you usually think about it, not just chance or gambling.
Right, more like a mental workout.
Exactly. Our mission, looking at insights from the article, is playing poker good for your brain, is to get past the luck, past the money, and really uncover how this card game can genuinely sharpen your mind.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising how many people just, well, overlook the significant mental workout poker gives you. And what's
Yeah.
fascinating, I think, is just how broad and deep the scope of these cognitive benefits actually are. It goes way beyond what you might first expect from, well, just a card game.
Hmm.
The sources we looked at, they really highlight a compelling case for poker as a genuine brain booster.
So let's get right to it then. The core finding, the short answer from our source. It's a pretty clear yes. Poker can sharpen your mind in multiple ways.
A definite yes.
And we're not talking about tiny adjustments here. It's things like enhancing your memory, really improving decision-making, especially under pressure, and even, maybe surprisingly, boosting your emotional control.
Yeah.
But, okay, why poker? What makes it such a unique mental gem?
That's really the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because, sure, lots of things challenge the brain.
Like puzzles or strategy games.
Exactly. But poker throws you into this unique crucible. It's not just solving a static puzzle. You're solving it with incomplete information. And against active thinking opponents who are trying to mislead you.
Right, they're working against you.
And all while your own money or chips representing it is on the line. So these aren't just minor perks, like you said. They're fundamental cognitive skills being constantly tested, strengthened, in real time.
So one of the biggest takeaways then from this deep dive seems to be how poker builds something called cognitive flexibility. For listeners, what exactly does that mean, and how does poker specifically challenge that, develop that mental muscle?
Right. So cognitive flexibility, it's basically your brain's knack for adapting quickly, pivoting from one idea or strategy to another, especially when new info comes along.
Adapting on the fly.
Precisely. And in poker, this is just crucial. Think about it unlike chess, say,
Right.
where everything's visible.
You see all the pieces, the whole board.
Yeah. Poker forces your brain to constantly analyze incomplete, always shifting information. You don't know their cards.
You have to guess or infer.
Exactly. You have to switch between playing aggressively and defensively, maybe even in the same hand. 1 minute you're bluffing, the next you're trying to figure out if they are, and you're adapting based on everything, their betting patterns, how many chips they have, maybe even how they look if you're playing live.
Yep.
It's this continuous mental gear shifting hand after hand. That's what makes your brain agile.
Okay, that dynamic, the incomplete information.
Yeah.
That must put a real strain on memory too, right?
Yeah.
It's not just adapting, it's remembering what to adapt to.
Oh, absolutely.
The article was clear. Poker isn't just luck. It needs constant recall. What kinds of things are players tracking in their heads?
Well, it's a very specific kind of memory, maybe inferential memory. You're not just recalling static facts, you're building this dynamic mental map of the game.
A map. Okay.
You're remembering details from hands played earlier. What were the community cards, the flop, turn, river, last time someone bet like this?
Pattern recognition.
Exactly. How did this specific opponent react in a similar spot before? Did they fold? Did they raise? And critically, you need to track all the bets made during the current hand. Who bet first, who called, who raised. The sequence matters.
Wow, that's a lot to juggle.
It is. And this consistent exercise, it doesn't just boost rote memory, it really enhances your working memory.
Which is important for?
Oh, vital for everyday stuff. Complex problem solving, learning new things, multitasking effectively. You're not just remembering cards, you're holding the whole story of the game in your head. It's a core skill we all use constantly.
Okay, so beyond memory, you also mentioned decision-making. I've heard poker called a decision-making laboratory.
That's a good way to put it.
And it feels right. But what makes its decision-making challenge so unique compared to, I don't know, managing a project or even other board games?
Yeah,
There's this psychological element, isn't there?
precisely. It's not just weighing known odds. Crucially, it's making bets, often financial ones, under conditions of, well, radical uncertainty.
Never know for sure.
Never. And you're dealing with intentional deception from others. Every single decision point, bet, call, raise, fold, forces you to rapidly evaluate risk versus reward.
Should I put more chips in?
What are my chances? What's the probability I'll win based on the cards I see and the ones I don't see, and then that huge psychological layer? Is my opponent bluffing? Or do they actually have the best possible hand, the nuts? So this raises a really interesting question, I think. How many other activities give you such intense practice for real-life decisions, especially decisions involving risk, uncertainty, and reading people? And usually the stakes in poker are relatively low compared to, say, a major business deal.
That's a fair point. Intense practice, lower consequence. But couldn't those stakes, even if low, actually hurt decision-making for some people if emotions get too high?
That's a very valid point, and it connects directly to the next benefit. The source implicitly covers this by emphasizing emotional regulation.
Oh.
See, poker doesn't just test your logic. It tests your ability to stick to that logic when you're feeling frustrated or excited or tilted.
Tilt when emotions take over.
Exactly. Learning to make fast, calculated decisions under pressure, and crucially, despite those emotional swings, that directly improves critical thinking. And that skill, it translates beautifully into real life. Well, think about business negotiations, making investment choices, even just handling everyday problems where you need to think clearly and quickly without letting stress or anger cloud your judgment.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And it leads right into the next point. The article really highlights poker as an EQ workout emotional quotient. How does a game, especially one famous for the poker face, actually help develop emotional intelligence? Seems a bit paradoxical.
It does seem that way, but it's fascinating. What the studies mention show is that poker forces you to manage losses gracefully because you will lose hands, even sessions. It's unavoidable.
No matter how good you are.
Right. You have to learn to handle bad beats.
Oof, yeah, those are tough.
Gut-wrenching moments, right. When you played perfectly, had the best hand, and some lucky card just snatches it away. Staying calm, sticking to your strategy, making rational choices even then. That's like an emotional superpower.
Resilient.
Totally. Practicing that kind of emotional regulation in a game like poker builds resilience. It genuinely helps people handle stress better in their everyday lives. It's about not letting frustration or even euphoria derail your thinking. That's a hugely valuable skill, way beyond the poker table.
It's easy to focus on the psychology, the bluffing, but underneath it all, poker is a numbers game too, isn't it?
Fundamentally, yes.
Even for those of us who maybe weren't top of the math class, how does it sneak in practical math in a way that actually sharpens those skills?
You're absolutely right. Even if you don't think of yourself as a math person, poker makes you apply numbers constantly in a very practical, immediate way.
Like what sort of calculations?
Well, you're constantly thinking about pot odds. Basically, comparing the amount of money already in the pot to the cost of your potential call is making this call mathematically worth it in the long run.
Okay, risk-reward calculation.
Exactly. Then there are implied odds, thinking about potential future winnings if you do hit your card. And you're always estimating probabilities. What are the chances my opponent has a better hand? What are the chances the next card helps me?
So it's not abstract math class stuff.
Not at all. It's dynamic, real-time application, using numbers to make immediate, sometimes high-pressure decisions. And that kind of mental workout, applying quantitative reasoning under pressure, it really improves your analytical skills, your logical reasoning, even your pattern recognition.
So if we zoom out, look at the big picture, it really sounds like poker earns its place as a serious brain workout. Right up there with things like chess or maybe Sudoku.
I'd argue yes, definitely.
The sources mentioned stimulating different brain regions, enhancing concentration. Is this a real way to kind of future-proof your brain?
Absolutely. I like that phrase, future-proof your brain. Think of it as a fun, genuinely engaging way to do just that.
How so?
Well, engaging in activities that demand complex thought, strategic planning, constant adaptation, that's known to be crucial for maintaining mental sharpness as we age, potentially delaying cognitive decline. Poker hits all those notes. It stimulates various brain regions all at once: memory, logic, emotional processing, calculation. It keeps those neural pathways firing and strong. It's a consistent, dynamic challenge that helps maintain cognitive vitality long-term. Better concentration, maybe even reducing the risk of age-related memory issues.
Okay, but it's not just about brain power, is it? Intelligence. There's another benefit the article highlights. Discipline and goal setting.
Yes, absolutely crucial.
How does a game often linked with risk-taking actually foster such, well, structured behavior?
It might seem contradictory, but it's actually core to playing successfully over time. The source points out how serious players, especially professionals, live by strict bankroll management rules, meaning they never risk more than a very small percentage of the total poker funds in a single session or even on a single hand. It's about survival, longevity in the game.
Protecting yourself from ruin.
Precisely. The article even gives this great example, the micro-stakes poker bankroll challenge. Players start with, say, just $50 and methodically, patiently work their way up to $1,000 through careful play and discipline.
Wow. That takes serious patience.
Immense patience. It's not just about winning pots. It's about systematic, disciplined goal achievement. And that skill, that disciplined approach, it's not just for poker.
Transferable skills.
Hugely transferable. It helps you set realistic financial goals in life, stick to a fitness plan, manage long-term projects, really any area where sustained effort and smart management are key. It teaches you the long game.
That's a great insight. Now, we often picture poker as this solitary thing,
Yeah.
the lone player with their chips and cards, but the source challenges that. It talks about social connections.
Yeah, that's a really important, often underestimated aspect.
How does playing poker build social ties, and how does that help the brain?
Well, think about playing in local clubs or using online platforms with communities or traveling to live tournaments. You're constantly interacting with diverse groups of people.
Different backgrounds, different perspectives.
Exactly, often under competitive but usually friendly circumstances. And these social interactions, they're incredibly beneficial for the brain. They stimulate emotional intelligence, reading people, responding appropriately, sometimes teamwork in certain formats, even cross-cultural communication. And the crucial link neurologically is that building and maintaining strong social networks is directly tied to better brain health. Our brains are fundamentally social organs. They thrive on connection. So poker isn't just a solo mental exercise. It can be a community builder that feeds your social brain too.
Let's shift gears slightly to the modern game. Online poker. Platforms like Bluffing Monkeys, they make it super accessible. Play from anywhere.
Right, the digital age of poker.
But online play must present its own unique challenges, right? A different kind of cognitive workout.
Absolutely. It's different, but equally valuable in many ways. You might lose some of the face-to-face reads, the physical tells.
No poker face needed online.
Exactly. But online poker pushes you in other directions. The games are incredibly fast-paced, much faster than live play, typically.
More hands per hour.
Way more. And many players engage in multi-tabling.
Playing several games at once.
Wow, playing 2, 4, even more tables simultaneously. And you have to track digital tells, betting patterns, timing tells instead of physical ones. That requires intense observation and pattern recognition.
That sounds like overload.
It can be, but it pushes players to develop faster reflexes, much stronger sustained focus, and really enhanced multitasking skills. It's a distinct workout, particularly for mental processing speed and keeping your attention sharp over long stretches. So live or online, your brain's getting a serious, varied workout.
Okay, let's try and bring this all together then. Recap this deep dive. The big question. Is playing poker good for your brain?
And the answer is?
The evidence we've looked at, straight from the source, says a pretty resounding yes. It's not just about the money or the luck. It's really about developing strategic thinking, sharpening memory in these unique ways we talked about, refining emotional control, honing math skills almost without realizing it, and building serious discipline.
Like a mental gym session, really.
Exactly, where every hand, every decision strengthens those cognitive muscles. So what does this all mean for your brain if you're listening?
Well, it means that every time you play a hand, make a tough decision, attempt a bluff, or figure one out, you're actually strengthening those cognitive muscles in ways that are profoundly beneficial. This deep dive, hopefully, gives you a shortcut, a way to be better informed about your own brain's potential and how a game like poker, played thoughtfully, can tap into it. It provides practical, real-world skills through something that's actually, engaging and fun for many people.
That's right. And we should definitely add that caveat again. Moderation is absolutely key.
Crucial.
You want it to remain a fun, brain-boosting hobby, not become a source of stress or problems.
Like any exercise, mental or physical.
Exactly. Consistency matters too. The source suggests playing maybe a few sessions weekly can help maintain that mental sharpness without leading to burnout. So maybe next time you think about poker, you'll remember you might just be giving your brain a fantastic workout.
And perhaps, as a final thought, Maybe consider other games or activities in your own life. Are there hidden cognitive benefits lurking there too?
Hmm. Interesting question.
How might looking at your hobbies, could be gardening, learning an instrument, strategy board games, anything through this lens of cognitive enhancement, how might that change how you see them or even how you spend your time?
Food for thought.
Definitely. And, if this deep dive has sparked some curiosity about poker itself, communities like Bluffing Monkeys are out there. They can be great places to explore it further, learn the ropes, and maybe put some of these ideas into practice, responsibly, of course.